Hello, ladies and gents. Welcome to episode 146 of the FAB and Fearless Business Booster Shot Show. My name is Yinka. I am a business strategist, a speaker, a coach, and an incoming author. And I support women to create wealth in and through their businesses by helping them to focus on what matters most for the business, which is cash flow and strategy, and what matters most for the business owner, which is mindset and habits. It is my pleasure and privilege to welcome you to this 146th episode of the Booster Shot Show, where each week at 1:30 p.m. UK time on a Wednesday, I come to you with a short, sharp shot to boost both you and your business with one powerful truth and one actionable tip. And if you can see and hear me over on my LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube socials, feel free to dive into the chat, come and say hello, and let me know how you are doing today. I am really excited to be here, and I'm really looking forward to sharing today's topic with you, which is focused on the truth about free. So, hi, Jackie. So good to see you. Thank you so much. I know you are super busy on your masterclass today, but thank you for joining. You are so welcome. It's lovely to have you in the room, and thank you for showing me that we are indeed live over on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much. If, ladies and gents, you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, please feel free, hit me up. I would love to have you subscribe and come and say hi. Let me just check if I am live over on my LinkedIn and Facebook, and then we will be talking about the truth about free. I can see myself over on LinkedIn. Yay. Excited to see that. And I can also see that I am also live over on my Facebook too. Awesome. So we are ready to roll. So ladies and gents, let me know on a scale of 1 to 10, how are you doing today? 1 is, Yinka, things could not be any worse. 10 is, wow, Yinka, things are incredible and could not be any better. I am a good solid 8 today. I would be 10. I'm just rocking a little bit of a headache, which is rare for me. I don't normally get too many headaches, so not sure what that's about, but I'm definitely honoring what my body is telling me. So I'm coming in on a strong 8. And I hope that you, ladies and gents, are doing well today, because we are talking about the fun that is the concept and idea of free. Hey, Charmaine, lovely to have you in the room. Thank you so much for joining me over on LinkedIn. It's great to have you. And I'm really looking forward to sharing more about the idea of free with you. Hi, Carmen. Thank you for letting me know that you are coming in on a 7 today. I hope. Hey, Harut, thank you for letting me know that you are 6. Hi, Aubria. Lovely to have you in the room. Awesome lady. 6.5. I'm loving these scores, ladies. So great to have you in the space. So we are talking about the truth about free. And just before we do, I would love for you to do 2 things. Number 1, if you know an amazing woman who runs a business or side hustle, and you know that she puts magic into the world. She is phenomenal at what she does and could definitely do with more cash in the bank and more wealth in and through the business, then feel free to tag her by name in the comments. If she's online now, she will have the opportunity to join our little party live. If she's not online, no problem. This replay will be available as soon as I stop the broadcast, so she will have access to this immediately after. And that gives her an opportunity to check it out. I make sure that these broadcasts are available on my platform on an ongoing basis to ensure that it is as widely available as possible. So tag an amazing woman in business or side hustling, and hit the reshare button wherever you are seeing my face and hearing the sound of my voice. Right, let's talk about free. Free is something that I spend quite a lot of time talking about because I help women who run businesses. Free, the idea or concept of free comes up a lot. And I'm here today because I want to share 3 powerful insights with you on this concept, because while you'll hear I spend a lot of time talking about the idea that free is cancelled. And I'm going to share a bit more about why in a moment. But I'd love for you, before I share what I want to share today, I'd love for you to drop in the chat and let me know, as you hear the word free, what ideas or concepts come up for you when you hear the word free. To tell me what comes to mind for you when you hear the word free. What comes up? What are you thinking? What does it make you think about? What comes to mind when you are thinking about free? And the reason I'm asking you this question is because one thing that we are often unaware of in the moment, but we know to be true, is that all prices, all price points send messages into the marketplace. All prices, all ideas, all price points send messages into the marketplace. And so free is also a price point. And so when you hear that something is free, it is sending you a message. And I'd love to know what message it sends to you. So, for example, if I said to you, "Oh, I saw a website where they were offering, Chanel handbags, and they were offering them for free." What does that say to you about those Chanel handbags? If I said to you, "Oh, I walked down the street and a very nice person offered me a free sample of their new product," what comes to mind when you think about the sample of free product? Carmen says, "No price to pay or giving my time for free." Aubrey says, "Free, undervalued." Harupa said, "Less value." And Charmaine said, "What's the attachment? What do they want?" Amazing, ladies. Thank you so much for sharing these. Harup said, "Not as competent or high value." Harupa said, "Not established." Thank you for sharing these. Now, it's so powerful to hear these reflections. And this is the first thing that I want to really get across to you, is that the concept of free, or the idea of free, thank you, Aubria. I knew someone was going to use the word. Aubria has said, "Free Chanel handbags, fake." Now, Aubria, why? Why is a free Chanel handbag fake? Why is it fake if it's free? And this is the thing. Haroop has made some really powerful contributions here. She said that when she hears the idea of free, it's that it therefore indicates to her that it's not as competent, it is less valuable, it is not as high value, it's not as established. Now, the question I have for you is, how do you know? How do you know that these are actually what is true, what is factual? And the answer, in all honesty, is we don't know. But we use free to help us to come up with conclusions. Aubria has not inaccurately determined that free Chanel handbags are fake. Something's going on there. Why? How does Aubria know this? Aubria knows this because she's absolutely accurate in her assumption or in her knowledge that Chanel doesn't even do discounts, let alone free. So when Chanel is selling Chanel products, they do not discount them. They don't discount them. Chanel does not offer, the brand Chanel doesn't do discounts. So where are you going with the free? Where are you going with the free? The only way that you would be able to get a free Chanel handbag if someone else bought it from Chanel and is giving it to you for free. But then it leads us into what Charmaine powerfully asks, which is, what do they want? Why is someone giving me a free Chanel handbag? Harupa said, when it's free, it's readily available, makes it less desirable for some reason. Obia said, a tiny Chanel handbag is 10K. So if it's free, something is wrong. I'm loving the insights here, ladies. Thank you so much for being so interactive. And honestly, it's making my job so much easier. Ladies, let me drop point number one for you here is very simply this: free is a myth. It is a myth. Free does not exist. And let me tell you why. Now, don't get me wrong. I love Janet Jackson and Luther Vandross. I sing that song all the time. The best things in life are free. I hear it. I get it. And what I also want to say to you is free does not exist. Hey, Nicola. It doesn't exist. In a world where we have to pay for food and shelter, it's not a reality. Nothing in life is free. Everything costs something. Many things cost money, but many other things don't cost money, but it doesn't mean it doesn't cost anything at all. Perhaps it costs time. Perhaps it costs energy, focus. Many things cost peace of mind. Many things live in your mind rent free. Back to that idea, rent free, but they're still living in your mind, taking up your space, squashing and grappling with your peace of mind. There is no such thing as free. Everything costs something. And so when we are in those scenarios where these delightful multi-billion-dollar corporations are like, please come and speak to our people for free, it's not free. It's not free. And one of the things that I often say to the incredible women who work in my spaces is these things are never free. So replace the word free and instead put in the expression at your or my, in this scenario, expense. If someone asks me to come and work for them for free, so they are not going to pay me, if they're not going to pay me, then it's going to be at my expense because payment still needs to be made. And that's before you even begin to think about the opportunity cost. Absolutely right there, Albria. So this is the first point. I really want to drop this truth because the idea of free, na lie, as we say in Nige. There is nothing that's free. Everything costs something. Everything costs something. In a world where food costs money and water needs to be cleaned and costs money, ain't nothing for free. And so once we replace the idea of free with at my expense, that gives us a much better way of assessing whether we want to pay that expense. One of the things I talk about quite a lot in my work and in my thinking is if someone asks me to work for free, like if someone asks me to pick my brain, for example, and I don't get those requests very often, probably because I'm quite vocal about this idea of like free is a myth and it's dead and I don't play that. But if someone asks me to pick my brain, given that there's nothing for free, that's time that I am going to give to them that I'm not going to give, for example, to my children. And so not only is it now at my expense, it's at their expense. Ladies, I hope you are picking up what I'm putting down. Every time you agree to do something for free, someone is paying. If you're a parent, if you're in a relationship, like depending on what time of day and time and those kinds of things, it is absolutely clear and important for you to understand that it isn't even only you that's going to pay, it's those that you love that are going to pay. So are you willing to allow those that you love, your children, your loved ones, your family, your mental health, your physical health, are you willing to allow those parties to be the one to pay rather than the multi-million-pound organization or even the person who slides into your DMs looking for something for free? Free is a myth. And if there's one thing I want you to take away from this particular conversation, it is that free does not exist. Everything costs something. So whenever you are asked to work for free, make sure that you are happy to be the one to pay. Now, do not hear what I'm not saying because there is absolutely, I'm never going to tell you not to work for free. I do plenty of things for free or at my own expense. but they are conscious decisions because I understand that it is at my own expense. If you are hearing the sound of my voice and listening to seeing my face right now, you did not pay me in cash to receive this. So please do not hear what I am not saying. I'm not suggesting that there isn't a place, and again, I'm going to talk about that in a second, to do things at your own expense, but you have to make sure it's strategic. Because the second thing I want you to understand about free, or the concept of free, is that it is such a massive privilege. Someone drop this in the chat for me, please. Being able to do things for free is a privilege. Why? Because everything costs something. And so if you are able to do things for free, you are either you've either created the opportunity for you to be able to do so, or you've been given the opportunity. Either way, privilege is not a bad thing, and not in my vocabulary. The privilege is incredibly important and powerful, but it is a privilege nonetheless. And it is important that we recognize this, because there are so many schemes and concepts and, entire workplaces, as I said, multi-billion-dollar organizations who want people to come in and do things for free at their own expense. Those opportunities are not equally accessible. Because if you come from wealth, or if you've been in a position where you have a foundation of cash and you have a foundation of wealth, and in preparation for this conversation, I was looking at the disparity in wealth, in pay, in education, and they are significant. We are living in a time where, both in the US and in the UK, Black women have the highest rate of education and amongst the lowest rate of pay. So they are overqualified and underpaid. And so that the use of free as a tool hits different when you are overqualified and underpaid versus other groups. The cost to you is higher because your pay was lower. I hope that this is landing, because ultimately the opportunity to be able to do things for free is absolutely a privilege. I remember coming out of university and looking at internships and internship programs, wanting people to work for 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks for free, full time. Full time. I was going into banking, so I was going to say 9 to 5, but that's a joke. More like 7 to 7. So if I'm going to give time 7 to 7, when am I actually going to use time to actually earn money? And these are the things we have to recognize. That the opportunity to be able to offer things for free is 100% a privilege. If you have it, use it wisely. We all have many privileges to give things for free. If we live in the Western world, internet is relatively available. Electricity is relatively stable. These are massive privileges that not everyone across the world enjoys. It is one of the reasons why I am evangelical about my content, because stability of internet and electricity, and relative stability, of household and mental health, these are things that not everybody enjoys. It is a privilege for me to be able to put content out for free. Across the world, there are people who would love to be in the situation that I'm in. And so I take it, as I said, as a privilege. And I do, the best that I can with what I have and all of the things. But free is a privilege. So whenever you have the opportunity to make use of that privilege, use it wisely. And this is where the third piece of the puzzle comes into play, because free is a powerful tool. The truth about free is a price point But it is a powerful tool for those who want to create successful businesses, but only when it's used strategically. Free is an incredibly powerful strategic tool, but only if you actually use it strategically. Like there is literally in practical terms, in tool terms, I'm not the best on tools, but there's no point using a spanner for a hammer's job. And this is one of the things that I see happen over and over again because people forget that free is a myth and it actually means at your own expense. They don't calculate the costs accurately, so they don't use it effectively. I believe it was Haroop who said earlier that when something is free, it's readily available 100%. And so, yes, it does make it less, it can make it less desirable because it is, more freely available. And the supply and demand curve in economics tells us that the more supply you have, when supply outstrips demand, people don't care about it as much. But this is where we get to use free to our strategic advantage. And this is the thing, you cannot give for free things that cost you so much to offer. And what I mean by that is absolutely you can make use of free in your organization to help to give people a taste of what you have to offer, to help give people the opportunity to step in and to get a slice of life with you. This is exactly what I use this particular tool that you are watching me deliver right now. This is what I use it for. I use it for people to have the opportunity to hear the sound of my voice. Because if I've got a voice that annoys you, then no matter how fabulous you think I am, you're not going to want to spend that much time with me. It's better that we know that ahead of time. And so free is an excellent opportunity to make use of and to give people the opportunity to get to know you better, to test things, to think about things in a new way. But you cannot give for free what it breaks your back to deliver. So inordinate amounts of one-to-one. No, you cannot give such things for free because free is a myth and it will cost you and it will cost you out of business. And so the one powerful truth I want to remind you of is that free does not exist. Everything costs something. Everything costs something. And so all of a sudden, when we remember that everything costs something, we start to treat what is freely given as much more precious. Just because something is freely given, it doesn't make it low value. People giving you a smile is freely given and yet is so incredibly precious. So the fact that something is low or no price doesn't mean it is no value. What it does mean though is it is hard for people to understand the value because they didn't put any payment towards it. And so free does not exist. Everything costs something. But the challenge with free is that because there is no financial or cash cost, perhaps there might be sweat equity or some other form. But the point there is until people have a sense of cost, they will not have an accurate sense of value. And that absolutely will present itself as a problem if you do not use free strategically. If you do not use it in ways to help you to bring people in so that they can come along and pay you for even more value and even more opportunity. And so, my one actionable tip for you today, because just because something is no cost doesn't mean it is no value. is I want you to look at where have you been using free in your business? What are you giving away for free right now? What have you been making available to others for free? And the question is, are you helping them to understand the value that you are offering? Because the price that you've given it to them for is not going to help them to do that. The price is not going to help them to understand the value. So you need to help them to understand the value in other ways, in how you position it, in how you talk about it, in how you offer it, in what comes after. So have a look at where you are using free and see if you are actually being strategic. That's part one of your little homework. Part two of your little homework is what have you acquired for free, free of charge, and yet you are acting like it has no value. I cannot tell you the number of people who have slid into my DMs to tell me, ooh, I watched your Beast to Shot show on this topic or that topic, and I went away and I took action and I got this incredible result. The fact that I broadcast these free of charge does not mean they are free of value. But it's very easy to think that something is free of value because it was free of charge. And so I want to encourage you to look at the things that you are gathering. What has come into your world and you didn't have to put down cash for it? But are you treating it like it has no value? Are you really getting all the juice for the squeeze out of that thing that you got for free? Because I assure you that there are things in your life right now that you didn't pay for that have tremendous value and you're overlooking it because you didn't pay. Now, this is one of the reasons why the saying, those who pay money pay attention, is so powerful. It's the reason why I don't discount things and the price is the price in my world. But ladies, who I can see, and gents who are potentially also watching on replay, I want you to understand that free is an incredibly powerful tool, but you must use it strategically. You must recognize that it is a price point that sends a message into the marketplace. And make sure that you use it to your advantage if you are going to use it at all. And so that is everything that I wanted to share with you today. Thank you so, so much for joining me. I hope this has been useful for you. Please jump into the chat, share your biggest takeaway. The chat has gone to sleep at my end, so I actually can't see anybody writing anything right now, but I hope this has been useful. And if you like the sound of what you've heard, this and many other things around money, around business, around success is part of the work that I do, supporting women to create wealth in and through their businesses. So if you would like to find out more about my work, feel free to either in the chat or in my DMs, drop me the word value. There's no point dropping the word free. Drop me the word value, either in the comments or the DMs, and I'd be happy to continue the conversation, share more, and let you know more about the work that I do. In the meantime, ladies and gents, take care. Have an amazing rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you in the spaces. Take care. Have a good one. Bye-bye.